These two emotional piano tips will make your playing sound twice as impressive with half the effort. Today I'm sharing two powerful techniques that early intermediate players can use to create emotional impact without needing years of advanced training. These piano examples come directly from my experiences living in Mexico and diving into traditional music styles like son joroco and norteño. So the first emotional piano hack is actually moving your melody to your left hand. We typically think of the right hand carrying the melody, but listen what happens when we move it to the left. So that was a small section from Luces y Sombras, and as always, sheet music is available in my shop. Now notice how the lower register creates a richer, more introspective feel. This technique appears frequently in Mexican string ensembles where bass instruments often carry beautiful melodic lines to help support what the singer is doing. When I was living in Mexico, I loved La Bamba, I'm sure a lot of you do as well, and other son joroco pieces. The infectious rhythms and the melodic bass lines inspired me to create Luces y Sombras, which means light and shadows in Spanish. By the way, if you're new here, welcome. I'm Rosemarie, online piano teacher and composer at Must Love Music. If this is helpful, please consider subscribing and be sure to hit that like button. Our second emotional piano hack is using parallel intervals. Let me show you what I mean. So this was from Sorpresa del Minuet Norteño. When you play melodies in parallel intervals, especially thirds and sixths, you can create an instant harmonic richness that sounds much more sophisticated than single note melodies. Now this technique appears frequently in norteño music, particularly in the harmony between the trumpets. Now when I lived in northern Mexico, these harmonies were everywhere, from wedding celebrations to street performances. If you're enjoying these emotional piano techniques, imagine what you could create with personalized guidance. In my online studio, we focus on composition and improvisation from day one in a neurodivergent-friendly environment. I've designed an accessible, inclusive approach where you can create music at your own pace while expressing your unique voice. Visit mustlovemusicpianostudio to book a meet and greet and discover how we can work together. All right, let's try out these techniques. I'm going to teach you some simple patterns with Mexican-inspired rhythms where you can experiment with both left-hand melodies and then parallel intervals. So we're going to go back to Luces y Sombras, so light and shadow. Remember, our left hand had the melody, and what's cool is the melody is a lot like a scale. So we're going to start on B, go down, and then from here, we're going to go up. Skip, then down. Very little skips in this. We're basically playing steps. We're starting on B, you and I together. Go down. Skip down. Excellent. If you need to pause, go ahead and do that and then come on back. What we're going to do now is we're going to add, instead of the full chords, we're just going to add the tonic. So in the case of our right hand, the tonic is E, A, not too bad, right? E, E, A. Okay, let's put this together. We're going to play right just before we start with our left hand. We're going to do it together. Keep in mind, it's not going to sound as full and rich if we don't have the full chords, but this is a great way to experiment. Awesome. You can try this technique with any scale and any chord. I would recommend, though, that the chords are the tonic or dominant of the scale. That way it's going to sound pretty good going with it. Just like I did, you can have some repeat notes. You can maybe go down the scale a little before going up. Occasionally have a little skip in there. The second technique is the parallel interval. So that's from Sorpresa del Minuet Norteño. And this one's a cool one. Actually, I don't think I told you. When I was writing it, I was really focused on a norteño genre. Once I composed it, I realized it had a little bit of a minuet feel to it, hence the surprise norteño minuet, which is what it translates to. So let's start with our right hand. We have E in our right hand, so just like we did before, but now it's our right hand. Again, mostly like a scale, right? Play that with me. Now, I know some people, they really love having the music up on the screen. We're going more auditory and you're just seeing the notes on the keyboard because it's actually not about what the notes are on the staff. It's about the pattern. So let's do this now. Our left hand, we're going to be playing parallel intervals. Now, what that means is when we stepped or when we repeated a note in the right hand, we repeated the note in the left hand. And when we step down or skip, we do the same thing in the opposite hand. So let's test this out. We're going to start on G this time. It sounds good just on its own, right? All right, so let's do that together. Excellent. So what we have here is that the notes are a sixth interval apart. E in our right hand, G in our left. Let's try this together. We could do this with third intervals. I'm going to be honest. My fingers are probably going to be all over the place doing this, but let's see what it sounds like just so we can try it out. So it doesn't sound as good. And this is why you'll notice that third and sixth intervals, there might be a third interval parallel section, and then maybe later on it might be sixth intervals. And it's for that exact reason. Even with these basic approaches, you'll immediately hear how your playing sounds more emotional and professional. These techniques work in any genre, but shine particularly well in Latin-inspired music because of the cultural heritage behind them. Again, I'd mentioned that the trumpets often have those parallel intervals. Now, I would love to know, which of these two techniques do you find easier to implement in your own playing? Drop a comment below and let me know. Does the left-hand melody or parallel intervals technique speak to you more? These emotional piano hacks might seem simple, but they're the same techniques used by professional composers across the world to create moving emotional music. So the next time you sit down to play, try moving your melody to the left hand or adding parallel intervals. You'll be amazed at how quickly your playing transforms. To learn more ways to add emotional depth to your playing, check out last week's video on pedal techniques. The combination of today's tips with those pedaling techniques will make your performances truly memorable. Thanks and happy playing.